Hello and welcome to As I Understand It, where we go over topics that are a little obscure or that we've heard recently and felt the need to learn more about. I want to share these topics with you guys as listeners so that hopefully you guys can learn a thing or two along with us. Today's topic is
Bite the bullet, as in the saying, bite the bullet. We heard this the other day watching a TV show, and they went into it a little bit more, or I guess it wasn't a TV show, it was another podcast of sorts, but I wanted to look into it a little bit more, and here we go. So as we know, in the Civil War times, they didn't exactly have the greatest of anesthesia, and by that I mean they really didn't. It was chloroform in a rag, and you were lucky if you stayed asleep for the whole procedure. And also, it was not a time well known for having the best of cleanliness. You just kind of did what you had to do and went from there.
I hope you don't get an infection and
Yeah. And yes, there's lots of infections and death. But anyway, so what was first believed is that people actually meant the word billet, and it was like a billet was the name of a strap of leather. So, you would put the leather in your mouth, bite down really hard, scream through the pain, and you don't cut your tongue off, like bite your tongue off, whatever. And if there wasn't any like sizable sticks around, was another good way of biting the billet, as it was called. The next part of that is that there wasn't exactly a lot of evidence written by doctors or other people in that Civil War time of biting down on leather or sticks or anything like that. So that one was kind of debunked as history went on. And what was mostly written down by doctors was that they would take a stiff drink of whatever they had, moonshine, whiskey, insert alcohol here, and drink plenty of that, give you about 10 minutes, and then you were off to the races doing whatever procedure was going to be done to you. So after you took your drink, they started. Now, it was said that if you bite the bullet, it was, of course, a lead, so it was soft enough that you could bite it, but it wouldn't necessarily completely destroy your teeth. And back in the day, they weren't really thinking too much about lead poisoning. So, did some people bite a bullet? Perhaps. I mean, I personally doubt it. That doesn't seem like the smartest of things to do. And then if you're biting it and you bite it in half and you swallow metal, you're going to have an even worse time, depending on whatever it was. And the next part of that, as we move forward, is that we had anesthesia, doing air quotes for people that can't see, was actually introduced in 1846/47, well before the Civil War, almost 20 years. And that's where the chloroform and the rag came in, and they would just, cover your mouth, you'd pass out, and you'd start. Now, they still did the drink, of course, to help for afterwards. So that was always an interesting time for them, I suppose. So that's the Civil War part of it. Do I think they actually bit bullets? No. I don't think they did. That doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah.
The next part of what people would say, bite the bullet, was the sepoys in India, which was the Indians that were under control of the British. They would have to bite the primer, rip it off, and then, load their guns and all that kind of stuff, muzzle loader. The issue with that, though, is that it had some kind of oil on it. Whenever you would bite and tear the package open to load the gun, and load the bullet into the gun. And they didn't know if it was cow or pig or what kind of oil it was. It was probably a fat of an animal of some kind. And then so that it led to the Indians rebelling against the British because that was against their religion and against everything that they stood for, and they just wouldn't do it. So that one might also be part of what that is. I can believe it, but that revolution was a long time coming anyway. And then, so the next one that leads to more of what we have, like today's time, was from the 1891 novel The Light That Failed. And as a quote from that book, it says, "Steady, Dickie, steady," said a deep voice in his ear, and the grip tightened. "Bite on the bullet, old man, and don't let them think you're afraid." So that would be today's example of, if you got to bite the bullet, you got to show courage, steadfastness. Just know that what's coming might suck, but you're going to get through it as long as you bite the bullet and just go for it.
Like Nike says, just do it.
Or as Nike says, just do it. We're not affiliated with Nike. So that's the quick history of Bite the Bullet. Nobody can say necessarily if it was Civil War, if it was the Indian Revolution, if it was this book. Those are just examples.
But either way, now it's just used as a term just to get it done.
Yep, kind of like
Go for it.
Yep, like take it with a grain of salt. It's the same meaning, just different sayings.
All right.
So.
Well, cool. I had no idea.
Well, now you know. Hopefully, our listeners now know. And then we all can. Next time we say "bite the bullet," we can know what it means historically, and.
Or we can all end up saying "bite the billet."
Yep, and be like, "I don't have any leather around, dang it." So.
Cool. Well, thank you for listening to our podcast today. If you feel like you liked this episode, we ask that you please follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and or Spotify, or wherever you listen to our podcasts. Your support would mean so much to us. I can't speak today. Of course, down below, please feel free to leave us comments or any thoughts on future episodes you'd like for us to do. Yeah.
All right, thank you,
Bye.
and bye.